MSBI consolidates a tool. It's a tool of business intelligence which performs ETL as well as reporting and analysis part in it. So basically, from the scratch, our sessions will be from the scratch. It's not that I would directly jump into the advanced concepts of MSBI. I will be taking you guys from the basic of MSBI and where exactly we need to start up with, like companies you see, almost all the companies. Apart from this tool, what exactly database development kind of work also is needed. So from the scratch, from the database development to the ETL reporting analysis services, we will be going in detail. All right. So very first thing we would look into is the SQL Server development, which is basically the database development. I don't think most of the trainers will give you this kind of experience, because I myself have personally analyzed when I interview people. They really can't explain me how the database functionality works into the integration. So I will be taking you guys from this scratch, so that whenever you face an interview or in your real time, you're not kind of confused or in a dicey situation, and you can handle things on your own after this training sessions. So SQL Server is the database development, and then when it comes to SSIS, it's ETL. So what is ETL? We will be looking over in our demo. Okay. So for now, just understand, you can either call it ETL or you can call it business intelligence. And then you have SSRS, which is more of reporting stuff. All right. And then you come up with SSAS, which is analysis. We understand what is reporting, but we don't understand what is analysis, right? So basically, it's kind of performance improvement, tuning and steps what we take care in SSAS, which is a multi-dimensional cube. So with this said, now you guys know that MSBI is having these many modules, but there in US or in UK, no one will look at all of this skill set. They don't want everyone, they don't expect anyone to have all of these skills, because right now I am working in a medical domain. Okay, my company is a medical company right now, wherein we use extremely SSIS and SQL Server and SSRS, and some of the part is involved in SSAS as well, but that's very extensive. But then, so what I wanted to tell you guys is, there are a lot of openings. Okay, openings come in this way: SQL, SSIS, SSRS. Okay, one opening. And then another opening SQL, SSAS. Another opening SQL, SSIS. Another opening SQL, SSRS. They don't mention SQL Server. Whenever you go for an MSBI interview, for sure SQL Server questions will be asked. So any kind of interview questions and what type of relative answers you have to share with your interviewer, we will be discussing in detail in our classes, regular classes. But then what I wanted to tell you guys is, do not get panic listening to all of these modules. Oh my god, I need to be hands-on on these. No. Hold on. So basically, you at least have to get hands-on on any of two technologies. Okay, and then have kind of exposure on two other technologies. Let's say your most of your interest is to go with SSRS. Okay, you want to be a report developer. Then you can have a very good understanding of SQL. Through our training sessions, I will walk you through all of these modules in deep. But then what I want you guys to focus on is any of two modules. Okay. So most of the cases in US as well, there are openings of SQL, SSIS and SSRS, limited opening for SSAS. Exposure is needed in many places. Apart from that, if they are looking for SSAS, they are just looking for SSAS, guys. Why? What is the reason behind it? I will come to, that kind of topics as well in this demo itself. So with this said, can I get your expectations? What level of understanding you're looking into, and what exactly do you know? Are you a toddler in this technology? Did you just begin, or some kind of you have some kind of expertise in this skill set? Anyone can start up with the
I I actually have a basic knowledge on SQL and database,
Is this
but
Saurabh?
yeah, this is Saurabh. Yeah,
Okay. Okay, go ahead,
Yeah.
Saurabh.
Uh, yeah. So Imran, so just that's a good thing. Like because we have a project where we need to utilize all these like SQL development, like T-SQL and writing SQL queries and stored procedures, and also
Right.
like using the ETL, and we are doing a data migration project. So for that one, we are using a Microsoft technology tool. So for that, SSIS and SSRS will be useful. And also,
Mm.
with working with the users, sometimes we need to train them for the user to develop their reports. And then for the performance issue, we also need to use SSAS. So it will be good. Like, I want both Priya and Saurav to be involved in the project. So it will be good to have, like, to take all the classes, like SQL Developer and then SSIS, SSRS, and SSAS.
Okay, Prasad. All right, absolutely, Prasad. That is what I have told you before I go ahead and begin with the classes. I have told you that we will be looking in each of the modules in details. But anyhow, we will be looking. But what I was just trying to get the intention of students, basically, if they have any skill set in mind, I can also focus more deeply on that. But that's okay. Already. So this is what it is. So Priya and Saurabh, you guys will
yeah,
be having every kind of detail, description and the hands-on. Like just Prasad told me, those are the projects. I'm also working for Verizon there in US part-time.
okay.
Most of their projects are like this. They basically interact with SQL store procedures.
Hmm.
Okay, and these store procedures are executed in SSIS. Okay, and based on a lot of expressions, the flow is taken care in control flow. What is control flow and things of that nature we will be coming in. And after this, there will be, if needed, they would need you to generate a kind of report. Okay, what different kind of reports are there in our SQL Server reporting services? I will make sure I cover all of the topics so that any kind of reports. What I mean is with this training session, you can easily handle any kind of real-time project because I will be taking you with one of my very good real-time project which can help you guys in having any kind of difficulties coming up with difficulties. If you have any kind of difficulties, you will be easily able to sort those things up. So now you got the basic understanding, right? We
Yes,
have these 3 to 4 modules. So basically, all right. So without taking much of your time, let me explain how exactly things works in SQL and SSIS. So let's say the project I'm going to explain is of a common project. This project is with Heritage. We have supported in US. What happened is like they have a lot of Excel sheets. Okay. Basically, Heritage is a retail company, right? I believe you all know about Heritage. All right. So basically, what they have is, they have to yearly wise they have to calculate certain amount based on some of their products. Let's say product A or product B in this month. What was the sales amount? You guys are able to look at the MS Paint.
yes,
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. All right. So what they have to do is they just have to analyze their sales amount in particular to their product to make sure they are on right track and they are bringing right kind of products into right places. So what is happening is in overall US, from one state, let's say there are 10 different heritages, okay, 10 different heritages. So similarly, in overall US, you have multiple heritages, and let's say these blocks are talking about each heritage Excel sheets, okay, with wherein the data is there related to the customers and the products which are in sales. All right. Now, what happened if they want to analyze? Okay, overall US sales particular to one product, this process was very much manual to them, right? everyone will be sending the sheet to the manager. Okay, manager is going and doing some work in Excel and getting the data, and it is taking huge amount of time for them to understand just one particular product sales. So basically what happened is they came back to one of our third-party client and they have approached this concept. So what we did is, okay boss, you have these things, okay, let us also have one FTP server in place. Okay, this is basically an FTP server. So once the project came in, we started analyzing the project and we have developed a solution for them. Okay, all right. So file transfer protocol is the shared location. So what we said is, okay, once your what do you say, the retailers who are there in the shop, when they close their business, what they have to do is just they have to click submit in the Excel sheet which is having all the transactions. Let's say Prasad went into a Heritage and he buy 10 products, right? One Prasad is buying 10 products. So assume if there are 1,000 customers, how many products are in sale? Right? Lots and lots of products. So data will go in millions and trillions just in 1 or 2 days. Okay, that makes a very critical part, here in, for them to analyze the process. So what we said, okay boss, we will provide you the solution, and what we have configured them is with one small .NET code into the Excel file. Okay, do not worry about this .NET code. What this do is, once they submit, click submit, all of these files, end of the day, end of their business, let's say 10 p.m. in the Pacific time zone, what they have to do is just after loading all of the details, they have to click submit, and by default what will happen is once they click submit, all of these Excel files will get loaded into FTP server. All of these Excel files will get loaded into FTP servers. From every state FTP server is configured, right? So everything is now loaded here. Let's say loading starts at 10 p.m. Okay, and it got ended at 12 p.m. because all of a sudden when server is hit, it will go slow. Alright, so what we have taken is a time snap of 2 hours to load all of the files. Alright, so what we did now, what we did is we have connected this FTP with our SSIS. With our SSIS. In SSIS, we have tasks. In that task, we have one FTP task as well. This FTP task, let's say this is an FTP task, okay? One second. This is FTP task. In SSIS, we will have, okay, this task is basically to connect to our FTP server. Okay, this task is connecting, and this is SSIS. So basically, what are we trying to do? Now you can understand the concept where SSIS will come in. What are we trying to do is, we are trying to extract the data from different Excel sheets for that one day. It is just one day process. Again the next day new Excel sheets will coming. So in real time also it happens, how to handle these multiple Excel sheets at just one day, and next day there should be new files. The files which got loaded should not be there into our FTP location. So these kind of scenario wise questions will be asked in interview, as well as practically also you will face this concepts of archiving, the process, everything. So these things we will be discussing right now. So what happened is, okay, now since we connected to FTP, this FTP connection got configured into our SSIS. Now what happened? Okay, now what FTP has? FTP has all of the Excel files which got loaded from different states. Alright, which got loaded from different state. Now FTP, using FTP, after that in the control flow we have taken this FTP into our for each loop container. Okay, now this looping container here, this is just an overview. Do not get panic with things here. We will be going in all of the details one by one. There are a lot of looping. One is for loop, next is for each loop. Why only go with for each loop? Why not with for loop? So these kind of concepts we'll be looking into great details. All right. So once this, what is the purpose of for each loop is it will loop each file, and we have configured a data flow inside this. Okay, which will basically, this task is basically, this is the data flow task and this is the for each loop task. This for each loop task is used to loop the files, okay, and this data flow task, whatever data flow, the actual ETL, the data flow task, okay, each file is loaded and is configured into data flow. Now data flow from each file is taking the data and pushing it to SQL server. So this is the actual ETL. Okay, taking the data from SSIS and loading it into SQL. Why? The purpose, why we should load into SQL? If you have that question in mind, SQL is a querying language. Okay, so what this package altogether does is, okay, it will take the files one by one, all of the files, and load it into our SQL server. After loading, there is in real time also you will have this situation need to be implemented in real time. After loading, if each and every file will get archived. Okay, this is the archiving process, let's say. Archiving process. Alright. So what is archiving is, the file which got loaded, only that file should be moved from this place to archiving folder. The purpose is, once the file get loaded and archived, you will have new file to start up the loading. Okay, and the another purpose is, this should get empty so that you get next day another new file, and to make sure we are processing new files, there should be end of this task, it should be in a complete state. Okay, so this kind of framework activity we have developed and given. So now what it makes, okay, after everything is done, after this SSIS package is done, what exactly is happening? The whole of Excel files data is getting loaded into our database called SQL server, right? SQL server. Alright. So in SQL server, data is stored in tables. Okay, data is stored in tables. In SSIS, we can access these tables, okay, using one task called execute SQL task. I will show you all of the tasks one by one, no worries. But then, so this is, assume this is SQL server. This got all of the files information. Now, just one line query will give you the business requirement. Let's say he is asking for total sales of this product in this state. Okay, there will be just one line of SQL query, one or two line of SQL query, which will be triggering the database and getting the data out of this database and giving you the response. Okay, see how the benefit of storing it in SQL server is this, and this is how these two things are integrated together. This is why these two things are integrated. SSIS or any ETL you take, any ETL, I say any ETL will be very much dependent on one database, because ETL is the process of extracting few things and loading it in somewhere. So while loading, to make things happen, you cannot just directly go with the file systems, either access, because again there will be constraints. You cannot calculate things, you cannot manipulate things, you cannot store things, you cannot have the history, security problem, everything will be there. So that is why any ETL will have one specific database connected to it. Okay. Now this database, as I have mentioned, will give you the response. Now business need to understand, in each state, what is the sales of these products, 10 products at a time. So how will they analyze? We, on top of this, we will write the query and it will give us the result in tables, let's say. But heritage owner, here let's say Reliance Smart is the case. Okay, Reliance Smart owner Anil Ambani would not understand table data, right? He won't go that manual. He needs some GUI to understand the table data. So for that, this SQL is now connected with SSRS. Therein where SSRS comes into picture. Okay, now you understand why SSRS is needed. SSRS is needed to basically give the graphical representation of your data to the business users, so that they understand, okay, alright, so once they look into the graphs, okay, here it is. There are a lot of reports we can generate, like you have chart reports, you have drill through reports, drilled on reports, cascading reports, parameterized reports. Lot of reports are there in real time, which different type of reports we can use. I will be going through those kind of reports as well. So basically most of the cases only those reports will be used. So those reports I will be walking you through in detail. Now you got the concept. Okay, this is where SSRS comes in. Then how about SSAS? Where does SSAS fits in? In this scenario, it's quite hard to understand how come it's all automated. See, the automated, they were analyzing one by one how manually it was going. Now how automated it is. They just have to submit and business user is getting the report. And these reports are scheduled. Okay, it is not that, let's say Ambani is in India and you guys are in US. Let's say you are working for India project. India it's night, US it's day. You cannot wake up at night and give your project of reporting services to Anil Ambani saying, okay, you have this report at your 12 p.m. So to make sure things work automatically, okay, this one is also configured automatically. Daily wise you will not go and execute this package to run. Okay, to run this package we will schedule. There are concepts of scheduling the packages or scheduling the reports. Okay, runtime, it will automatically, whatever day and time you mention in the schedule, it will automatically trigger this package and it will execute this package. And this package will basically take you to SQL server. And SQL server, after getting their data based on some conditions, we will trigger and SSRS is triggered. And from this SSRS, what happens? Okay, SSRS report got generated. Okay, that's fantastic. But now, how do a business user know that report got generated? That is where subscriptions come in. Rendering format comes in. Okay, now it comes down. There are different type of subscriptions. There are email kind of subscription and shared window kind of subscription. Email, what do you mean by email? What do you mean by subscription? Or shared window share. So basically what do you mean by this is, once report get generated, either you want to send the report in an email to the business user, or you want to share the report to the business user in his system in particular drive. Okay, so this is the concept apart from these concepts. Getting it, guys? So
Yes.
this is how everything from scratch got automated. Now let us talk about little bit about SSAS. What SSAS does? SSAS, since you guys know now that SSAS is used to improve the performance. Let me change up the color. Right. So SSAS is basically used to improve the performance. Okay. Why can't SQL improve the performance? Why can SSAS can improve the performance? Right? Simple question. Anyone can have. So let's say this is SSAS cube. Cube. The storage of analysis services is in cube format. Cube format is basically a three-dimensional format. Three-dimensional format. That means data is stored in 3 dimension. This is 1 dimension for a cube. This is 1 dimension, front dimension. This is 1 dimension. So accordingly, cube may have 6 dimensions. So data is stored in 3-dimensional manner, wherein in SQL Server data is stored in tables. What are tables? Tables are rows and columns, only 2-dimensional. Okay, so what? So what means when you hit SQL Server and try to get the response, 2-dimensional database will give you a response. Let's say there are 30 million of records, okay, and you are trying to extract those 30 millions. It might take 1 hour of time to get those detailed information to be get extracted and generate report. But then when you are using SSAS, when the MDX is the query, MDX is the querying language used to, X, right, used to trigger cube, and SQL is the querying language used to trigger the SQL Server. So once cube is triggered, it will give you response from different dimensions at one go, okay, and give you the response, let's say maybe in just 20 to 30 minutes of time span. Why? Practically, how does this works? Okay, now you told me I can consume it, but practically can you tell me? Yes, I can tell you. What happens is, okay, so basically let me open up a new one then. Alright, so basically let's say there is a water tank, okay, and let's say this analysis of is SQL Server and this is of SSAS. Now SQL Server, let's say, you know, just in manual way I'm trying to explain. Can you guys look into the new MS Paint?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Already. So now let's say this is the water tank, and water tank is loading the data into water house. Okay, this loading process is taking about 1 hour to load the whole data. The whole water into the water house. Now you have here also same thing, same water house, same amount of water is trying to get loaded into the warehouse. Okay, assume this is SQL and this is SSAS. Alright, it is also trying to load, it should also take 1 hour, right? If this is the process continued, it will also take 1 hour. But here in SSAS, we have partitioning technique, we have performance improving technique, we have storage technique, we have calculation techniques, aggregations technique. So for just small example, what I want to demonstrate here is, okay, now partitioning technique is parallelism in SSAS. I am adding one more pipe. I'm adding one more pipe to just one tank. So what do you think? Having 4 pipes will not reduce your number of hours? Yes, right? It is a common thing. One pipe, it is taking 1 hour. 4 pipes, all of a sudden 4 pipes starts getting the data and loading. That is what 3-dimensional is. If we talk in technology, if we talk in this, these are the techniques which we can develop in SSAS. This is how the performance will get verily increased, and hence it makes it reduced to 20 minutes of time. So this is how basically SQL or SSAS, this kind of storage modes are there. So here we have MOLAB, HOLAB, ROLAB. Why to go with MOLAB? Why to go with HOLAB? Why to go with ROLAB? Everything will be discussed in details, and what is the best way to go with. Okay, different type of techniques we will look into. So this is all about MSBI and its subject core things in MSBI. So with that said, can you come up with questions if you have in case?
Yeah, I have a question. You mentioned about the 3-dimensional. In that, how can you explain, like, how are you partitioning it?
These are the techniques, partitioning techniques. Partitioning, it is like let's say there is there is a database. Okay. Let's say this is one database, but from the whole database, from this whole storage, business is going to only use this part. Okay. Business is only going to use, let's say, the reddish part. Only this part business is going to use. So what you do, you will partition the data and store the data. Whenever that requirement comes and hits this server, it will not check in whole of the database. Since it knows, okay, this requirement is coming from this kind of business, it will directly give you this result set.
Okay.
Searching is reduced, hence the technique is improved. Hence, because predefined partitions are already in place.
Okay.
Hope I was able to answer your question.
Yes.
Alright, great. And you, another lady is there? I do not.
Yeah, I get that.
Right. So this is all about MSBI and things of modules, different modules of MSBI. And if we talk about other things, we will whatever questions you have, you can if in case you're not able to get those questions right now, you can consolidate that question. In next class we can discuss those questions. And so with that said, what I always personally believe is SQL Server is the core component of whole MSBI. So we will start with SQL Server, then we will move with SSIS, and then SSRS, and then SSAS. Any questions, Prasad, apart from these things you have?
I have a question. Yeah, hi. We'll be starting with SQL, right? You want me to get some heads up on something, or we'll go from the basics of SQL? Or I have a basic idea though, but I just wanted to know,
our trainings, it is not you need to be a technical guy. Even you don't understand ABCD, I will be working you from the core details.
Okay.
And, that's kind of okay if in case you don't have any idea.
I have a basic SQL idea, but I just wanted to know, if you want me to, before we start the actual classes,
I will be, taking you from this batch.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah.
All right then. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Sorry, man. Just one question I have. You mentioned about the FTP. Is there like a maximum capacity where the files will be stored? Is there like a limitation in that?
Okay, FTP is one of the server
Right.
which is common to all of the states.
Okay.
The capacity, how much space needed, that is business need. Okay, they will discuss with administrators and all. These jobs are of administrator. There are two different roles here. One is development, one is administrator. SQL Server administrator will be taking care of providing the roles access to the user for new machines. Similarly, to new installation and deinstallation, clustering, mirroring, and working with the capacity, storage, everything he will be taking care. Our job is to basically do the development part. And when you work, you don't work solely. You will have a team. Like you might have one system analyst or business system analyst, and then you might have one functional folk who can help you get the business understanding. So and then your development starts. It is not that we are only things, and there will be testers also who will do the ETL testing after we develop.
Okay.
Even wherever you are, this is the process. If they are going with any kind of methodology, SDLC, Agile, whatever it is.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, that'll be all. Yeah.